Hi, Mr. Manulung. I have a question.
Hi lady, what is that?
What is meant by direct and indirect object? And how can I differentiate them?
Alright, pay attention to my explanation. I think I should start from the basic. You know? A sentence can be structured as subject plus verb plus object. For example, Jake threw the ball. Here, Jake is the subject. Threw is the verb. And the ball is the object. Simply say, the subject is someone or something that performs the action. The verb, especially action verbs, are used to refer to the action that is being performed by the subject, while the person or thing that receives the action is called the object.
Wow! It's getting interesting. So, why should we call the object as a direct or indirect object?
A direct object is a noun or pronoun that directly receives the action of a verb. A good way to find a direct object in a sentence is to find the verb, and then ask the question, who or what. As in the example that I previously mentioned. Jake threw the ball. If we ask a question, what was thrown by Jake? Then the answer is, the ball. In which, it directly receives the action done by Jake.
I get the point. So, if it directly receives the action done by the subject, then it is called as direct object, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, what about the indirect object?
An indirect object receives the action of the direct object, answering the questions, to whom, for whom, to what, or for what. For example, Jake threw the ball to Kate. Again, if we ask a question, to whom did Jake throw the ball? The answer is, to Kate. So, in that sentence, Kate is identified as an indirect object.
Can I say? If the object directly receives the action done by the subject, then it is a direct object. While, if for whom, or to whom the direct object is addressed, then it is termed as an indirect object. Am I right, Mr. Manulung?
Precisely.
Can you give me some more examples, sir?
Okay, here are some examples. I'll ask the questions, and you give the answer. She gave her mother the phone. What did she give?
The phone.
So, the phone is the direct object. To whom did she give the phone?
To her mother.
Correct, so, her mother in the sentence is an indirect object. Here is another example. She forgave Sam for ruining the party. Who did she forgive?
Sam.
So, Sam is the direct object. For what did she forgive Sam?
For ruining the party.
Then, for ruining the party is the indirect object. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. But can you give me some exercises to strengthen my comprehension?
Alright, before we start doing the exercise, let's review the conversation to strengthen your understanding. And here is another example. Andrew gave his dog a bone. In this sentence, Andrew is the subject, his dog is the indirect object, and a bone is the direct object. Well, I know perhaps in your mind you have a question. How can I easily identify them? Okay, here you are. So once again, the subject of a sentence is the person or thing doing the action or being described. It answers the question, who or what. So, if we ask question, who gave his dog a bone? And the answer is Andrew. So that's how we identify and able to find the subject of the sentence. By asking if the subject of the sentence is people or person, then we ask by using WH question who, while if the subject of the sentence is a kind of thing or animal, then we ask the question by using what. In addition, a direct object is the person or thing that directly receives the action or effect of the verb. It answers the question what or whom. So if we ask the question to the sentence, what did Andrew give? The answer is a bone. That's why a bone here is the direct object, because it directly receives the action or effect of the verb. You get it right? Okay. And to find the indirect object, okay, we can ask question, for example, for what, of what, to what, for whom, of whom, or to whom. For example, we ask a question, to what did Andrew give a bone? The answer is to his dog. So his dog here is the indirect object. Okay, let's have another example. The father cooked dinner for his daughter. Who did cook dinner? The answer is the father. So, in this sentence, the father is the subject. What did the father cook? The answer is dinner. So, dinner in this sentence is as a direct object because it directly receives the effect of the verb. While, for whom did father cook dinner? The answer is for his daughter. So his daughter here is the indirect object. So in conclusion, if you want to find the subject of a sentence, give question who or what. But if you want to find a direct object of a sentence, just ask question what or whom. And to find the indirect object, okay, you may ask this question, for what, of what, to what, for whom, of whom, or to whom. Okay, I do believe that you now clearly understand our discussion. And perhaps this exercise will make it better. Okay. Exercise 1. Read the following sentences, then draw a line under the subjects and the object. Number 1. Anne has drawn a panda. Okay, let me guide you. So, if we ask question, because our task here is to find subject and the object. So, to find the subject of the sentence, we can ask question who if the subject is people. Anne is kind of person, so we ask by who. Who has drawn a panda? The answer is Anna. So Anna here is the subject of the sentence. To find the object of the sentence, we ask question, for example, what Anna has drawn, and the answer is panda. So Anna is the subject, panda is the object. Okay, and number 2, here I will also help you. They are playing table tennis. Okay, again let's ask question, who are playing table tennis? Okay, good. The answer is they. What are they playing? Correctly, okay, table tennis. Okay, so apply these tips to the rest of the number, and you have 15 seconds before the correct answer automatically appear. Number 3. Little Kate knows the alphabet well. Okay, so the subject is Little Kate and the object is the alphabet. Number 4. Dad bought a computer. Well done. So the subject is dead and a computer is the object. Number 5. I'm writing a letter. Okay, so the subject here is I and a letter is the object. Number 6. Birds have feathers. Good, okay. Birds is the subject, feathers is the object. Number 7. The workmen are building a house. Yes, the workman is the subject, a house is the object. Number 8. Samantha has a pretty doll. Right, Samantha is the subject, a pretty doll is the object. The children received one gift each. The children is the subject, one gift each is the object. Number 10. Do you know the answer? Okay, you is the subject and the answer is object. And this is exercise 2. There are two objects in each sentence. Draw a line under the direct objects and the indirect objects. So we are asked to find the direct object and the indirect object. Number 1. Dad gave Dave a present. Okay, let me do this. What did Dad give? Yes, a present. So because it is directly affected by the verb, so that is direct object. To whom did Dad give a present? Exactly, to Dave. So Dave is the indirect object. Okay, number 2. Mom is making the children a meal. What is Mom making? A meal. So a meal is the direct object. And then, for whom is Mom making a meal? For the children. So for the children is the indirect object. You got it right? Okay, now try your best to do the rest of the questions. 3. Mr. Thomas bought the ice cream cones. Perfect, okay. The direct object is ice cream cones and the indirect object is them. 4. I sent Anna a birthday card. Okay, so a birthday card is direct object and is indirect object. Granny taught us a story. Okay, so Granny taught what? A story. So a story is the direct object. To whom? To us. So us is the indirect object. 6. The waiter bought The waiter brought the guests their drinks. Okay, that is the answer. The drinks is a direct object. The guests is the indirect object. Can I get you a sandwich? Okay, so the direct object is a sandwich. You is the indirect object. This is the last deal. The police officer showed us the way to the museum. So the way to the museum is the direct object. Us is as indirect object. So that's how you can identify to find the subject of the sentence, the direct object, and the indirect object. Well, our next topic of discussion is transitive and intransitive verb. See you and tata.